Madam President, dear sister, I can't express how profoundly proud we are to have you amongst us in the position you hold today. We look up to you and we celebrate the exceptional career of a diplomat you are. But more importantly, we now celebrate the new journey you have started, in which you are the only bright star as a female president on our continent. And all of us as Africans, but especially all of us women, it is with a deep sense of pride, joy, and gratitude that we really want to offer you our support in whatever way we can so that you succeed to illuminate this continent, not only as a woman, but particularly as a leader, bringing a touch of human touch and connection with the people in terms of what leadership is all about. But also with the huge expertise which you have to help all of us to really be much closer to what we have been saying, but to be closer to what we are supposed to do to transform our continent, and more importantly, for the agenda we are going to be discussing during these 2 days, really to be loving, caring, protective of our children. Your presence amongst us is a very clear signal of the issues which are close to your heart, issues we believe you are going to champion in your mandate. So we really welcome you, and we thank you very profoundly for having taken your time to be with us and to give us your guidance to this continent of ours. Your Excellency, the Commissioner for Social Affairs of the African Union, Excellencies, the ministers, all friends and colleagues, distinguished diplomats, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this 8th International Conference. It is really with a great pleasure and honor to warmly welcome you all to this 8th International Policy Conference on the African Child, dedicated to the pressing issue of child hunger in Africa. Many of you have traveled long distances to be here with us as part of this important conversation. I would like to thank you for making the time and for engaging with the cause of Africa's children here in Addis. As I speak now, right here on this continent, a child is dying of hunger in one of our villages or townships. Such a tragic event happens every minute, every hour, and every day. It is especially common here in the countries we call home, more so than in other parts of the world, and it is happening in the 21st century, where so much progress has been made in science and technology. At a time our economies are growing rapidly, and in an era where the Africa Rising hymn is the current mantra. I often ask myself, where did we go wrong? As Africans, it is time that we have a candid conversation and critically examine our policies and institutions, where we are doing well and where we got it wrong. It is clear to me that the past has not been satisfying. It is Einstein who said that the technical definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. We need to revisit the path we have followed over the last more than 50 years or so, and investigated the political economy and intellectual paradigm within which we have been thinking and operating. This is tough and complicated, but we have to pause and confront ourselves intellectually. Such reflection and an Africa-wide conversation is very much needed to help us to understand the stats and the dynamics of our condition. It is in this spirit that the Africa Child Policy Forum is organized. On a biennial basis, the International Policy Conference on the African Child, the IPC. This is a Pan-African forum for reflection and policy dialogue on themes of paramount importance to our continent. It brings together key stakeholders from government, development partners, and civil society from across and beyond Africa. Earlier conferences have addressed critical issues such as violence against girls, child poverty, inter-country adoption, and crimes against children. I can say with confidence that the conclusions that have emerged from these conferences have been influential in setting the Pan-African agenda on children. Here we are once again challenged by a most important and sensitive subject, child hunger. This 8th International Policy Conference on the African Child is intended to initiate, catalyze, and contribute to an African-wide conversation on the subject, mobilize collective action, and contribute to the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals and the Africa's Agenda 2063. I've been saying it in various forums and want to repeat it here again. The development of our nations and societies will continue to be stunted unless we invest massively in addressing child hunger. I strongly believe that we as a society can and should do better. This is why, as a champion of the African Leaders for Nutrition Initiative, I am calling on African governments to invest in good nutrition for their children, starting now. I encourage all of us to lend our voice to the 3 in 3 campaign, which calls on African countries to increase the amount of their national budgets that they allocate to nutrition by 3% over the next 3 years. Today, this morning, I decided to be very disciplined. Tomorrow, I don't promise to be so. I have to respect that the opening is simply really to welcome and to pay our respect to the dignitaries who are going to be opening our session. I'll be listening. I'll be observing. I want to see the level of commitment which is to come out of our debates. More than statements, it's commitment of what each one of us individually and as organizations we represent. What are we going to do differently now? How are we really going to mean what we say so that we see change, not in numbers, but in the way we do things really to care? Who on earth can be proud of having his or her child dying of hunger? Who? How can we live comfortably with this reality and really not be shaken deeply in our consciousness to say, no, there's something really wrong going on in our homes, in our communities, in our governments. As a society, we should be, honestly, we should be ashamed of ourselves that we have to sit here and discuss hunger for children. So I'm listening. And then tomorrow, that's when I'm going to be undisciplined. Thank you so much.